By now, you have probably heard the old phrase, A students work for C students and B students work for the government. In many ways, it's just common sense. When you're talking about free information, when you send poor people to an institution and give them free information, lots of times that information is incorrect, bad, or wrong. But let's get down to why. Why would the better A students work for the C students? It has a lot to do with being brainwashed in school with information that is no value to you in your working years. And sometimes it's best to ignore most of that information. So C students seem to be in a fog sometimes. They're not with it. They're in school, they just go through the motions, and in many ways they don't retain everything that the system is trying to brainwash them with. So they keep a little bit of their creativity. True, most of their creativity is destroyed in public schools. But the A students, they really believe all the information they're being brainwashed with in schools. The A students really believe it more. They're clever. They're clever children. They're just being destroyed. Their creativity is being destroyed in a public school system. The B students, they just act like parrots. They just act like parrots and just repeat answers. They don't have any original thoughts at all. And since they have no original thoughts and they just repeat what they hear, they're perfect for lazy government jobs where you don't have to think. But the mind is at its most receptive years. When you're sending a child to school, its mind is like a sponge. And this is the most important years, and we send them to a public school prison system that makes them into conformists, almost like sheep heading to the slaughterhouse. And again, it's common sense if you think about it. The rich people who make the books, they send their kids to private school. And if you did not give disinformation, if you did not give wrong information to poor kids, then the rich private school kids would have no advantage. So it's really common sense. Life is a game, life is a war, and there are certain people up against certain people, class warfare. So the poor people who send their kids to schools, they have no power on what's being taught to their children. The people who have power to decide what's being taught to the children are the rich people. And the rich people send their kids to private schools, so it's all common sense here. There's no conspiracy, it's just common sense. It's a game. My child will beat your child because we have a more expensive private school, and your children are being disinformed, brainwashed in the public schools to go to war. So sometimes it's best to be a C student. Ignore everything you hear. Try to keep some creativity. And then when you get out of the school prison system, that's when you learn. And that's what happens. A lot of dropouts, a lot of college dropouts become great entrepreneurs because they were able to get out of the prison school system quicker, understanding that everything in the school was nonsense, and keep their creativity going. Could you imagine what an advantage your child would have if you kept them out of the prison school system and homeschooled them at home on a computer through like a Ron Paul curriculum? Ron Paul is just amazing, trying to wake up Americans, and he understands the public school system destroys your child, so he created a homeschooling system. You can do it right on your computer at home. Can you imagine the advantage these children are going to have over the poor kids that got to go to public school. This will enhance the class breakdown of America in the future. So many kids will be so stupid, and there'll be such a big separation between the homeschool kids who are so clever and the kids who are so stupid. I mean, it'll just separate us more and more. So you really need to homeschool your child, and forget about sending a kid to a school where they learn how to drink, they learn how to take drugs, they learn how to be very superficial, focus on the most mundane nonsense information ever created that borders on propaganda for warfare. Everything in the school is designed to make sure your child understands that he should go to war. When the old people in Washington, D.C. say, go to war, you go to war, be conformist, like the sheep led to the slaughterhouse. Not a very good way to start off in life, being sent to the prison school system. So, back to why C students employ A students. The C student was not contaminated as much. He pretty much tried to put himself on autopilot, kept a wall up